Imagine it. Tomorrow, September 26th, 2025. It's just another rotation of our planet. Just another sunrise, people are commuting to work, kids are learning in schools. The great machinery of human life hums along. But then, something happens. Something that changes everything. The cosmic silence we've been listening to for so long is finally broken. The universe, in all its vast and mysterious glory, decides to speak. We, a curious species on a small rocky world, have spent centuries staring up at the stars, asking the same profound question, are we alone? And on this day, we get our answer. The discovery might not arrive with a thunderous boom or a blinding flash of light. It could be subtle, a faint repeating signal buried deep within the cosmic background noise. A signal that doesn't look natural. It has structure. It has intention. It is the product of intelligence. Think about the sheer scale of this moment. But the confirmation of extraterrestrial intelligence shatters that solitude. We are no longer the universe's only children. How would we meet them? The method of first contact could take many forms, each with staggering implications. Perhaps the most likely scenario, detection from a distance. We might capture an unambiguous techno-signature, a radio pulse, a laser pulse, a structured, complex signal with clear artificial hallmarks. A message in a bottle across the cosmic ocean and we would find it. The signal could be a simple beacon, a mathematical primer, an entire encyclopedia waiting to be deciphered. But what if contact is more direct? Imagine a probe, an uncrewed, intelligent craft entering our solar system. Not a gleaming movie starship, but advanced, ancient technology exploring the galaxy. Its arrival detected by our observatories, an unnatural trajectory and sophisticated design leaving no doubt. A physical artifact we could study up close. Or they arrive in person, a starship of unknown design and capability. It enters Earth's orbit, it lands on the surface. It moves the event from theory to sudden visceral reality. Or the discovery could be simpler. Life itself. What if a mission to Mars Europa Enceladus drills beneath the surface and finds microbes? Single-celled organisms swimming in a subsurface ocean. In the event of a confirmed signal, what happens next is not chaos, but a carefully orchestrated process. Scientists involved in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, have long thought about this moment. There are established post-detection protocols. The first step is verification. The discovery would need to be checked, double-checked, triple-checked. The signal must be confirmed by multiple observatories, independent of each other, to rule out any possibility of a terrestrial source, a satellite malfunction, a simple mistake. This process would be intense, meticulous, and conducted with the utmost secrecy in its initial stages to prevent false alarms and public panic. The burden of proof would be extraordinary. Once the signal is confirmed to be genuinely extraterrestrial, an intelligent analysis notification. Scientists would work around the clock to learn everything they can. Where is it coming from? How old is the signal? Is there a message encoded within its structure? At the same time, the protocols dictate that major international bodies and world governments must be informed. The discovery is not the property of a single nation or institution, it belongs to all of humanity. The moment the news breaks, governments worldwide would shift into crisis mode. The first official reactions would likely be cautious and measured. Leaders would address their nations, confirming the discovery but urging calm and unity. Behind the scenes, a flurry of unprecedented diplomatic activity would erupt. Hotlines between Washington, Beijing, Moscow, and Brussels. The primary goal would be to prevent unilateral actions and maintain global stability. The presence of another could be a powerful unifying force, but it could also become the ultimate source of geopolitical friction. Who speaks for Earth? Which nation gets to control the dialogue? International organizations would be thrust into the spotlight. The United Nations, often criticized for its limitations, would face its greatest test. It would likely convene an emergency session of the General Assembly and the Security Council. This is where groups like the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs would become central tasked with coordinating scientific data and advising on a planetary response. Militaries across the globe would go on high alert. This wouldn't necessarily be an act of aggression, but one of prudence. Defense agencies would scramble to assess the capabilities and intentions of the newcomers. Are they a threat? Can we defend ourselves if they are? Economically, the world would be thrown into turmoil. For the average person, the news would land like a thunderclap, echoing through every home office public square. The initial reaction for many would be a profound sense of shock and awe. People would gather around screens, watching the news unfold, their faces a mixture of disbelief and wonder. The moment would be deeply personal. It would connect you to every other human on the planet. For a brief, shimmering instant, our shared identity as Earthlings would overshadow everything else that divides us. You might call your family, step outside to look at the sky, and feel an overwhelming sense of being part of a truly historic moment. A story for the ages. This initial wonder would quickly give way to a spectrum of other emotions. For some, excitement and euphoria would dominate. The dreamers, the scientists, the artists, and the explorers would see this as the dawn of a golden age. For many others, however, the dominant emotion would be fear. The unknown is a powerful source of anxiety, and there is no greater unknown than an alien intelligence. Human history is filled with stories of disastrous first contacts between different cultures where the technologically superior group subjugated or destroyed the other. People would fear the worst: invasion, subjugation, or even extinction. Parents would hold their children a little tighter, and a sense of vulnerability would wash over the planet. The arrival of extraterrestrials would send shockwaves through the foundations of human culture and religion. For centuries, many of the world's great faiths have placed humanity at the center of a divine plan. The discovery of another intelligence, perhaps older and wiser, would challenge anthropocentric views. Some leaders would call it an apocalypse, others would call it a beautiful unfolding of God's creation, proof the divine spark isn't limited to Earth. Congregations would flock to their churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, seeking guidance, seeking comfort, seeking answers. This could trigger a global philosophical renaissance. It forces us to confront existence head-on. What does it mean to be human? What is the nature of consciousness? Is there a purpose to life? The aliens might have their own philosophies and art. The dialogue could enrich human thought, or unsettle us. The political map would be redrawn. The nation-state could seem obsolete. This might catalyze global unity. We might form a planetary government. The discovery would permeate every aspect of our culture. Humanity would have a new story to tell, a new mythos, one that began on the day we learned we were not alone. Ultimately, the discovery of extraterrestrial life would present humanity with a choice. It would place us at a fork in our evolutionary road. One path leading to ruin, and the other to a future beyond our wildest dreams. The negative outcomes are easy to imagine. Fear and paranoia could lead to a disastrous, preemptive military strike against the visitors, casting humanity as the primitive, aggressive species of the galaxy. Our own internal divisions could deepen. Nations fight over access to alien technology, triggering new wars that could devastate our planet. The revelation could shatter our societal structures, leading to chaos, collapse, and a new dark age. But the potential for positive change is just as powerful, if not more so. The arrival of aliens could be the very thing that saves us from ourselves. Faced with a greater context, our terrestrial conflicts over borders, resources, and ideologies might suddenly seem small and pointless. The discovery could unite humanity in a way that no event in our history ever has. Sharing technology and knowledge with an advanced civilization could help us solve our most pressing problems: disease, poverty, climate change, and energy scarcity. This moment would hold up a mirror to our species. How we react, with fear or with curiosity, with hostility or with welcome, will say everything about who we are. Are we a species defined by our tribalism and our history of conflict? Or are we a species defined by our intellect, our compassion, and our insatiable desire to learn and explore? The visitors would serve as the ultimate test of our character. Our response would become our legacy, the defining statement of humanity's maturity as we step onto the galactic stage.